Hey guys, good morning and welcome to Marketing in the Zone. So, guys, today I'm super excited because we are going to start with a very essential and a very important part of SEO, which is on-page SEO. Okay, so guys, let's just deep dive into it immediately. Let's not waste any more time. Okay, so guys, one of the most important part of on-page SEO is okay. So first, let's talk about why on-page SEO is so important. Okay, so guys, how do you go about? Imagine that today I ask you to boss to tell me if you can create a website for me. Okay, what will you tell me? Yes, you can. Most of you would say yes. Okay, but the problem being that if I ask you to prove that you can create a good website, you can create a good website which actually gives me the good kind of visibility and everything, that is a problem, guys. Now why is that a problem is because you will have to show me something. Okay, so guys, what actually happens is whenever you talk about on page SEO, it's the one part of SEO which is there in your hands. Okay, basically because your whole website is in your control. Okay, you can decide how it looks, you can decide what content it shows, you can decide how exactly it's going to be shown across to a lot of people. Okay, so guys, as I was saying, it's a one part of SEO which is there in your control, in your hands. Okay, so you can decide how your whole website is going to be looking like, and what are the major things which you want the user or your visitor to actually look at. Okay, so guys, this is a part of SEO which actually kind of is your appreciation of your own content. Okay, so basically, how do you go about with it? Okay, so guys, the first and the very important aspect of on-page SEO is having the URLs which are correctly pronouncing and correctly being shown. Okay, so how do you go about with it? Is basically you will have to define the URLs to ensure that your keyword is the first and the very first word on the URL part. Okay, so you can define how your URL is being shown, and your first two words or first word itself is supposed to be your keyword. Okay, that will kind of help you rank higher, and that will kind of help you clear, have that better visibility. Okay, and guys, as far as possible, try to have short URLs. Okay, short URLs, crisp URLs are what Google loves the most. Okay, so have it short, and it's not just Google, it's almost all webmasters, or you can say most of the people who are actually being who actually tell you about indexing and everything, they would love short URLs. Okay, so ensure that you are having short URLs, precise URLs, and at the same time you are using a lot of LSIs. Okay, okay, I did use LSI. Okay, LSI is basically latent semantic indexing. Okay, uh, basically what it is, it's basic in a very common English, it is synonyms. Okay, the use of synonyms instead of direct keywords. Okay, so imagine that I'm having a website wherein I'm trying to explain that I love SEO. Okay, so SEO is one keyword which I'll have at the start of my URL. Okay, so SEO as a URL at this a keyword as the start of the URL. So next I will explain why, what is it that I wish to speak about on SEO. Okay, so I will use SEO as the first part. Okay, and then in the next part I'll say, I'll put a colon or something, probably SEO tips and tricks. Okay, and a colon, and then something which explains. Okay, like on page optimization, steps for on-page optimization. Okay, so guys, what I've done is SEO is one keyword which I've used, and by using LSI or what I've done is I've just inserted a synonym of SEO which is on-page SEO. Okay, so instead of saying on-page SEO, I've said on-page optimization, steps for on-page optimization, something of that sort, guys. Okay, so you'll have to look at a lot of synonyms or replaceable words. Okay, so that you have a long tail keyword as well in place, and at the same time your URL is having a lot of weight with respect to your keyword. Okay, and guys, there are a lot of other tips and tricks, like you could actually also optimize your URLs to ensure you should also have the same keywords which you have used at the start of the URL, in the first 150 words of your content. Okay, so guys, what I mean is the moment your page loads, okay, you are probably having your keyword as SEO in the first entry of the page. Okay, so next, in the first para of your content, have your keyword specifying something, like the top SEO. If you would ask me, I would say I would start my content with the top SEO tricks for ensuring you rank higher on on Google or any web search engine. Okay, and I would start it from the very first thing would be one liner which will explain what my URL is all about, and then I will go on start with the content. Okay, so guys, this kind of approach kind of optimizes your page for better visibility and better ranking. Okay, and with all of this, guys, you can also use credible external links. Okay, so what do I mean by that is basically, guys, whenever you are doing any kind of work, use credible external links. Like you can have Wikipedia. Actually, you are if you ask me to kind of link out to some other sites, so I would probably link out to Wikipedia, where Wikipedia is actually explaining about on-page SEO, or it's explaining about SEO in general. Okay, so I'll link those pages out here, explaining how what exactly is this. I'll give a proper definition of SEO in the first para, where I explain what is SEO, what is on-page SEO, and then I go about trying to link Wikipedia, kind of links on this page. Okay, Wikipedia, you can say, or you can say any of the credible ones like Neil Patel, Seth Godin, wherever they have spoken about SEO and on-page SEO. I would like to link all of them back on this page. Okay, and guys, that will kind of make my page that more heavy. Okay, it will not just make heavier with respect to Google, but also Google will look back and say, okay, this is all content which is related to this page, related to the content which is existing on this page. So probably this content is also that good. Okay, and guys, I'll also have a lot more internal links, like probably if you have actually viewed my sessions before this, so you would have seen SEO basics and SEO, you can also speak of SEO search engines. What are search engines? Okay, in the SEO version itself yesterday that we covered. Okay, so now guys, what will happen is, if you look at this particular session, I would have created a page. Okay, this is an example. Okay, this is a example where you will see that I have created a page about SEO, wherein I am explaining on-page SEO, and I would have linked back to my earlier sessions, stating that, guys, if you want to understand SEO, this is my link. There is a link to my session before this. Okay, and I would have grabbed that content as well out here. Okay, and also I would have explained why with on-page SEO it is that important, because search engines actually give respect to you based on your on-page SEO and off-page SEO. Okay, and how do search engines do that? You can check out my video before, which was about search engines. Okay, so guys, all of these links, link backs, and links, internal links, they actually help to kind of make your content more viewable, more shareable. Okay, and then guys, there are a lot of SEO issues which you might have to resolve. Okay, with respect to on-page SEO, because you have to ensure that your page is less than 50 kb, and it loads faster, and you also have to ensure that all of your resources, you have less than 20 HTTPS requests. Okay, and your website is having a HTTPS secured protocols. It's following those protocols, and it is mobile. It should be mobile friendly. Okay, so guys, these are very little subtle norms which can help you kind of rank higher. Okay, so all of this, guys, also comes under on-page SEO, because this is under your control, because your website is under your control, guys. Okay, and once that is there, you should use also the proper schemas. The schema mapping has to be done correctly. In case you are actually using some kind of tool, that is also good. Otherwise, you can, or if you are having regular posts which are in a specific region, or in a specific format. So you imagine that you are about to create a blog post which is related to a certain topic. Okay, so guys, ideally having a kind of a template template wherein it describes all of these pointers, what should be the title tag, and guys, also when you are using the proper keywords, ensure that you are using the keywords also in h1, h2 and h3 tags. Okay, it's a very simple and a very important part of SEO, on page SEO. Okay, so guys, all of these pointers will definitely help you rank higher. Okay, and ensure that whenever you are doing something of this sort, you are creating a template before you are starting to create the content. Now, why do I say that? Okay, so guys, what happens is you Google, what it does is it's a bot, guys. Okay, Google has a lot of robots which actually come to your site. They check for the quality of content, they check for your content, they check for the mapping if it is done correctly. Okay, so schemas should be present ideally, but if you don't have that, okay, so what you can do is you can go back to Google Data Highlighter, which is a part of your Google console. Okay, and what happens is you can use Data Highlighter to actually tell Google what kind of content is being shown. Okay, so you can kind of mark what is the post name. Okay, if you have it at the top of your post, you just mark it as a post name and what's a post image. So you can just tell Google that this is a post image, and this is the content which actually describes what the post is about. Okay, and you have a lot more other stuff like who is the author of the post, when was this posted, and what is this about in general, and a lot of other things. Okay, so what happens when you map it, guys, so imagine that today I'm writing one post. Okay, and I go immediately to Google console and Google Data Highlighter and I mark it up. Okay, as in mark it up, it's an easier tool which wherein I can define what my post is all about or how my post is structured. Okay, so guys, what happens is tomorrow I mean the whole week I'm writing all blogs. Okay, so I'm done with about 6-7 blogs. Now what happens is, because I've already done it before, okay, so whenever a new post or a new tag I mean a new article is written, okay, and it's posted on my site, and I actually submit my sitemap on Google. So what will Google do is, every time this is submitted, it will go back to Data Highlighter. It will pick up the same similar kind of post. It will tag all of the related blog posts as well, guys. Okay, so it kind of helps you gain better visibility, because without actually putting a full effort on creating the schema for each and every blog post, you're creating all the schemas at the one time. Okay, so it's a one-time effort, guys, and it is worth it because Google keeps on updating it based on your sitemaps, which you submit to Google every time. Okay, so guys, once you are done with a whole week of ideally you should be doing it daily, or you should have some automation wherein it submits sitemap daily. So you have a lot of plugins on WordPress to do that, but if in case you are missing out on those and you are looking to do it regularly, do it at least once a week. Okay, if your website is getting that frequently published and stuff. Okay, and guys, whenever you can also use a lot of other techniques for creating the appropriate blog post which can be shared. Okay, now this is a part which is not there in your control, but guys, it's a very important aspect. Okay, so imagine that today you ask me, "Ki Krishna, what is the kind of content which will rank higher?" Then there is one skyscraper technique which you can use. Then there is a cornerstone articles which you can write about, and you can use the many type of multimedia kind of images and videos. You can also data sheets. Then you have a lot of other infographics or gifs or any kind of images, basic images, or something which is interactive, and all of these guys are very useful for actually sharing or having backlinks. Okay, so guys, one other aspect of on-page SEO which is very important is alt tags. Okay, so what happens is, guys, a lot of us are actually using images, a lot of us are actually using a lot of content which is being which we are sharing across. Okay, but what happens is when you miss out on alt tags, okay, now most of you might not even know why alt tags were actually used. Okay, so what used to happen is, guys, for oldies like me and other people who still use old systems, what happens is a lot of the on kind of loading actually takes time. Okay, So what happens essentially if the image is not loaded is that it shows a text which is very similar to which is like an alternative text, okay, and alt tags actually handles that part, okay, basically because Google can't read images. So what happens is Google can look at this tag and it can understand what is this image about, and that can actually help you rank higher, okay. So guys, there are a lot of other parts of this, okay. So guys, if you like this video and you enjoyed the information content on this video, I'll definitely request you to like, share and subscribe, okay. Subscribe to this channel, guys. I will keep coming back with more and more content, quality content, which can kind of help you rank higher, get better in your job and market well, okay. Have a great day, guys. Bye. See ya.